Hello and welcome back to Higurashi Minagoroshi Chapter 4. We're in bad times. This world's value has been dropped a little bit. Basically because of Rina. Unlucky. But you know what? Like I said in last episode, I'm a little bit more hopeful than Rika is right now, but let's not waste any time. Actually, let's waste a little bit of time. I lied. We should go over some of the stuff last chapter. Um, so it really seems that Takano is like obviously she's working with Irie, but it also seems like she's not a nurse. Like I thought she might be, like a natural medical professional. It feels more like she's actually like a mercenary leader. Like I don't know what the. It seems like the mountain dogs or whatever. Like they could be like a government unit, but she seems to be like the boss of them. So mercenary leader talking. I mean, it also so we should put like some skills on Takano. I don't know. Like obviously it's all just guessing, but like if she does lead the mercenaries, then she's probably like pretty decent in combat. So I don't know, put that on her potential ability list. I mean, I guess that's all I really wanted to say because we kind of went over that fact because it's a pretty heavy scene. But yeah, you know what? The rule in this that's been shown time and time is you should ask your friends, and if your friends can't help, then we might be doomed a bit. But yeah, at least get an ask in there. Don't give up without that, Rika. But you have to be like careful not to like set off Keiichi on a killing spree. So I guess it has to be kind of delicate, but hopefully, hopefully it can go well. We'll see. Rika needs a boost. Right now it's like, she was on a massive high, now she's falling down. Let's make it a bungee so she bounces right up instead of just a fatal drop. Anyways, let's go. Tepe, we will get our revenge again. I trade my body to school, hoping that Satoko might be there. But just as I expected, there's no one sitting in her seat. I felt all the more devastated just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way out through my eyes in the form of tears.
Furude-san, どうしましたか? 今日は北条さんはお休みですか?
Chia? Did we see Chia this arc yet? Probably. I just don't remember. Actually, I don't think we have. If this is your arc debut, welcome back. The whole class was wondering why I came in late today and why Satoko wasn't with me. But even if I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise from them. No one here was able to save Satoko. No one could save her. And we did mention last time the Shion thing. Put Shion in the equation. Now, it might just end up like how it ended up with Keiichi, and she ends up killing him. But like, it's at least it's something new, right? It's not like Shion ever tried to save Satoko from her uncle in any of the other worlds Rika's been to. And apparently this is like a super rare event. Like she described before, it rarely happens, so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more options, I think, if this is like a super rare event. I should have to keep smiling at all these useless people. This world is finished anyway. If I leave matters alone, then a few days after the Watanagashi festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual, and I'll return to the beginning of this month again. And so I'll continue to live forever in June 1983. Trapped here. Even death won't set me free from that prison.
Furude-san, 何かあったなら話してください。北条さんは今日はどうしたんですか? 風邪でお休みですか？
うるさいな。
The whole class gasped. Bruh. I would gasp too if I was a little kid. No one expected Rika Furude to talk like that. I myself made such a blunt statement a few times in several past worlds, but it was always the first time anyone in that world heard anything like that. That must have been very easy for them, and I envied it.
フルデさん。
Chia was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. If Satoto wasn't around, I didn't want to be locked up inside of this humid place.
帰るわ。
I'm not coming here anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained the small hope that Satoto might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chia wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Chia told me to take a seat on the couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch as she told me to. I realized then I didn't even have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoto felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel, and so she was simply obeying her uncle.
フルデさん。何があったか話してください。先生はきっと力になれますよ。
She just spoke to me, but I already knew her words were empty. All she would do was call the child consultation center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo resident and pull Satoto out of there. So there's no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself. And shortly, everyone would know about what was happening with Satoto. That would only result in chaos. If they called the child consultation center, the staff from there would go and visit Satoto. Her uncle will deny the abuse, and Satoto will also deny because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving. Shortly after, they'll find out about the false reports Satoto made before, and they'll decide to not proceed any further. Her uncle will allow Satoto to go to school for a few days, but his abuse will get worse because he'll think she's the one who called the child consultation center. He'll do horrible things to her, just like her aunt did last year. Calling the child consultation center will not help Satoto. It will instead put her in an even worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if you don't report it, then how else is this world supposed to improve? No, nothing is going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoto.
北条さんのおじさんが？それは本当ですか？
I had somehow answered all of Chia's questions without noticing. I knew that nothing would change whether I spoke to her or not. So I just told her everything. Because I had no energy to rebel.
だいたい状況は分かりました。大変なことになりましたね。
で、そこまで知ってあなたは何ができるの？
She answered right away without faltering, already used to my spiteful tone.
今日夕方に家庭訪問に行ってみます。まずはさとこちゃんに会って
That's a
事情を聞い
first.
てみます。
Dude, I'm telling you, Chia has some serious power. Okay? People underestimate Chia on the Higurashi power tier list. I already know her secret that she's closely related to Hanyu. We've already seen the evidence. But, okay.
それで問題があるようならば
At least she'll go.
児童相談所に相談するって言うんでしょ。さとこは過去に嘘の通報をした記録が残ってると思うからね。 虐待の確たる証拠がないと動いてくれないわ。
Remember when I said back then, why not just record it? I'd set up some secret cameras. They probably can't, right, because of the age, but it's not that old. It's what, 1980s? I feel like that might be a plan, though. Maybe it's just not widely available. Cameras, that is.
人が殺されるまで
You
捜
feel
査
like,
してくれない警察と全く同じよ。
I feel like Erie could hook us up, but I don't know.
サトコが殺されるまで相談所は動いてなんかくれない。そうすると相談所も学校もこういうの。いじめの兆候は全くなかった。普段は明るくて全く予見できなかったって。本当にバカばっかね。
そこはきっと相談所の人が何とかしてくれると思います。私も北条さんの窮状をしっかり訴えます。
I've done the same in previous lives, too. I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say that there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chia. The problem was with them. No matter how hard Chia tried to seek help from child services, it meant nothing as long as they held biased notions about Satoko.
そんなの証拠があるかどうかなんて関係ないじゃないですか。
It's Shion, dude. It's a game changer. I'm telling you. I think it was pretty obvious because she is like the one thing different about the Satoko situation. We'll just see if it's good or not. Either way, I feel like Teppei is getting K'd unless something else. Unless Akasaka actually like saves the day. I suddenly heard a voice from the hallway. It was Shion's voice. Chia shouted, "Who's there?" when I heard Mion gasping crap. They must have been listening to our conversation. They were having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes. 4 people entered the room from the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Rena.
自習だと言ったはずですよ。
Does she understand? I guess she did just officially transfer schools. I was kind of under the impression that she just went here. Like, not officially, just for fun. But that doesn't really
皆
make
さんを連れて
sense.
教室に戻りなさい。そんな場合じゃないです。サトコに何かあったら先生、どう責任を取るつもりなんですか？
I can easily... Actually, it makes a lot of sense to Xian's, like, the big sister role in this arc. Compared to Keiichi. Keiichi didn't really go through that big brother phase, so it can easily turn into a Xian thing. But you feel like Xian could be, like, super clean with the kill. But at the same time, the police are monitoring him very closely, so... It's kind of a rough situation.
取れないでしょ？ひよってる場合じゃないです。すぐに行動を起こさなきゃダメです。お姉のバカとかはちゃんとした証拠がないとむしろ事態を悪化させかねないとか言ってますけど、そんな証拠が残った後じゃ遅いんです。ミオンはサトコを見殺しにする気？そこまでは言ってないよ。さっきも言ったように、サトコには過去に沖宮の相談所に嘘の通報電話をした経験があって、それ以来マークされてるんだよ。だからしっかりした証拠がなければ必ず訪問調査だけして様子見ってことになる。それはどういうことか考えなよ。おじの怒りに油を注ぐだけ。サトコを余計追い詰めるだけなんだよ。
くそ、なんだよそれはよ。何かある前に手を施すのが
Well,
救うってことだろ。
maybe even though Keiichi didn't have that brother moment, maybe he'll still... I mean, it made sense. The Keiichi Xian team up, dude.
サトコに何かあるまで放置しろってのか。
I'm just like trying to think it out. Like, I can easily see them doing it, but the problem is like, what happens after? And I guess it depends. How, like, because last time Keiichi did it, but the police didn't actually catch him doing it. But they were able to track them down because they were kind of tailing Tepe eventually. But then someone removed the body. Probably Irie's group, to be honest. Or Tatano. Irie's group, which obviously includes Tatano or Tatano by herself, via the mountain dogs. It's rough though. I'm trying to think. And Atasata's here, dude. That's a real curveball if he's on the police side. I mean, he's technically not, but he would side with Oishi or Rika. He's kind of like equally both their friends. Huh.
みんな落ち着いて。私もしーちゃんや圭一君と同じ意見。何かあるまで様子を見ようなんてのは絶対思わない。
Record the abuse.
なら何ができ
I
る
don't
の
know.
か考
Is
え
it
なくちゃ。
possible? I feel like Sonozaki's could also probably get cameras. But it might be harder than I'm thinking. Maybe cameras aren't like tiny. Back then.
何かってなんだ。児童相談所に相談することだろ。
Nah.
絶対に助けてくれるならいいが、様子見になる確率が高いってミオはそう言ってるわけだろ。
Can you...
悔しいけど、昨年がそうだったように今年もそうなる可能性が極めて高い。しかも今年は昨年に比べたら状況がまだまだ甘いの。去年は聡子が十分に追い詰められている状態だった。でも今回はまだおじに連れ去られて1日しか経ってない。
I know this isn't the moment at all. And, you know, not to take anything away, I've never noticed the sink in the hallway. And I'll be honest, that's a pretty nice idea. Sinks out of bathrooms in hallways. You know, it saves you time. It's more on the dough. It's a good idea. I'm sorry it distracted me. I needed to get that out there.
しかもおじは1年間放置していたとはいえ親権を持ってるし。
I also find it insane that he still has legal custody of her after abandoning her for a year. Seems like a pretty sketchy law. Like there should be something against that, but I literally know nothing about anything about parental law or whatever. So I don't know. It just seems dumb to me.
そんな回りくどいことなんか必要ないでしょ。そんな野郎待ち伏せてぶっ殺してやればいい。
Yikes. In front of
し
Chia.
ーちゃん、そんなのダメ。
In front of Chia. Oh no.
サトシ君はそんなのを絶対に喜ばないよ。
Yo, use Satoshi. I don't know if that's gonna work, Rena. It works.
聡子をどうやって
Maybe.
助ければいいんです。
The Satoshi word. I still get nervous when that word is uttered. Near Mion. No, near Shion.
サトシ君に頼まれた。聡子を頼むって頼まれた。私、聡子に何かあったらサトシ君に顔向けできないよ。聡子がいじめ抜かれた後じゃないと手が打てないなんて、そんなの方法じゃない。
What if everyone kills Tepe together? Like all the club members? Is that considered like not going crazy? I mean, technically you can say everyone's going crazy. So maybe that's not a happy ending, but it's better than one person going crazy, I think. If everyone's in it together, I don't know. Just a suggestion.
目の前で現在進行している犯罪はまず通報するの？違うでしょ？止めなきゃ。
It's a good point. I think it depends on the person. If a crime was happening, I'd probably tell the police because I am a coward.
私たちの手で自ら止めなきゃ。落ち着きなよ、シオン。おねえ、その先本家の当主でしょ。
I bet the Sonozakis do know that Tepe is big bait for the police, so they probably can't actually do anything.
本家の力で聡子を助けてよ。できるでしょ。聡子一人を助けるくらいの力は十分にあるでしょ。 かってるよ。ダム戦争で遺恨が残る北条家には一切関わらないってばあさんの方針なんでしょ。
I honestly feel like the only peaceful non solution that won't like end up really bad as the arc continues will be an Otisakla solution. Though again, I don't know how likely that is.
サトコがどうなろうと見て見ぬふりというのがその関本家の方針なんでしょ。沖宮の相談所に助けられなくてその崎家にも助けられないなら私がやるしかないじゃないですか。私がやるよ。サトコを不幸にするやつはぶっ殺してやる。今すぐ殺してやる。この場からサトコの家まで行って刺し殺すのに1500秒もかからないんだから。
Hey, it's Keiichi's line, kind of. I remember the 1500 seconds.
あんたたちには1500秒で何ができる？何もできないでしょ。私が助ける。私がサトコを助けるの。
Except Keiichi was thinking it in his head. Shion's just saying it out loud in front of Chia. Again, Chia is still here.
離してよ、離してよ。今から殺しに行くんだから。シオンさん、お静かになさい。物騒なことをこれ以上言うと怒りますよ。
They were desperately discussing how to save her. I just sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I had seen this same discussion many times in many different situations. Really? Maybe Shion isn't new tech? I thought Shion was a new thing with Satoto. That's what it kind of felt like to me, but I guess maybe not. I was tired of listening to it. The only difference was that everything was happening a few days earlier than usual. I mean, that could be a big difference. What if they kill him before the Higurashi? I don't know how that would make anything different, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. The police wouldn't expect it. They're expecting it to happen on the Higurashi if it's happening. If you hit him with the before the Higurashi, Oishi might be stumped.
大丈夫。もう何にも期待なんかしないから。期待なんてどこにも残ってない。
Honey made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about our fate or if she was taking pity on me. Can we get a Keiichi boost? I don't think so. Just as she promised, Chia went to Satoto's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoto's uncle took her away. She wouldn't be able to tell if he'd hurt her already or not. If the students hadn't made such a big fuss about it, Chia would have waited a couple of days before going to her house. She already knew, however, that what happened to Satoto the previous year. She also knew that her uncle was abusing her just like her aunt, and that he had neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoto hadn't shown up in school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence. That alone was proof that her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chia was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. She parked the car in the street and checked the map she brought from the school. It said Hojo residence on the sign in front of the house. She was certain that this had to be the place. The window on the second floor was open and she could see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several old men. No one had answered the phone when she called right before leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noise of mahjong tiles along with the voices. She had never played mahjong before, but had a pretty good idea that was it from the way the men were talking. If they were playing Mahjong, there must have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students had told her that Satoto's uncle was a very violent man. Chia was a teacher, true, but she was also just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. But courage drove her forward. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the bell ring inside the house. But the laughing voices continued to echo from the second floor. It seemed as though they didn't hear the bell. She rang the bell again, and this time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard the sound, but soon after they started laughing again. It didn't sound like anyone was coming to get the door. She thought someone heard the bell, but perhaps not. She was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time.
こんにちは。北条さん、いらっしゃいませんか？
Finally, the laughter stopped, and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door.
なんじゃいね踊れは。
Jesus.
やかましかとっととうせえ。
Shia felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with a teacher's pride and responsibility.
こんにちは。北条さんでいらっしゃいますか？私。
Before she could introduce herself, Teppei screamed at her.
やかましか。新聞も牛乳も保険も間に合っとんねん。わしゃ今むっちゃ忙しい
No
よ。
milk. Gotta get your milk.
仕事中じゃいねん。
The people in the room laughed when he told her he was working. Chia wouldn't give up. She continued to speak.
私、ひなみ沢文庫教諭の知恵と申します。北条聡子さんはいらっしゃいますか？
ああ、なんじゃよ踊れ。なんで踊りにさとこ合わせねえならんねん。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思いお伺いさせていただきました。
ああ、学校？
はい。さとこちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、風邪なんね。そうそ
Yeah.
う。さとこは風邪で熱出してるんですわ。
Good one, Teppei.
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ。踊れ話聞いてなかったんかい。
Oh my god.
さとこは風邪じゃ。
Gotta I mean, it's not even courage, it's just simple-mindedness and not caring at all. But just imagine. I mean, I can kind of actually see it, never mind. Swearing to your teacher. Or not your teacher, your child's teacher.
うなっとるね。
Put some respect on Chia's name, dude.
それを合わせられるかいボケ。
そうですか。明日は登校できそうですか？
知るかいな。
Who knows?
そんなもん明日になってみなきゃわからんわ。このクソボケ。
そうですか。わかりました。では、さとこちゃんによろしくお伝えください。失礼します。
Chia bowed, but by the time she lifted her head, Teppei was no longer there. Well, that didn't work. Unlucky. As expected, though. When Chia returned to the school, several students emerged from the classroom. They were Keiichi, Rena, Mion, and Shion. Rika was also still inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside. So is this third-person POV? It could be a Hanyu POV, kind of. I guess that makes third-person, like, kind of cool. Because it's just Hanyu walking around invisible.
先生、どうでしたか？
さとこのとこに行ってきたんですよね。皆さん、それが聞きたくて待っていたんですか？
Doesn't feel good for Chia, but to be honest, it's like, there's not much she could do. Especially with Tepe's boys around the house. You can't really like charge in. It's just a bad idea.
千恵先生、聡子はどうでしたか？無事でしたか？
それが会わせてもらえませんでした。あんた何しに行ったんですか？教師でしょ？ガキの使いじゃないんです。会えませんでした、そうですかで帰ってきちゃ意味ないじゃないですか。やめなよシオン。そんなこともあるだろうって予想できたことだよ。どうせ聡子の顔に青あざがあるに決まってます。
She did have swelling on her face, but that's not... I don't think that's enough. Maybe? I don't know. How did injury detection works? Like, you can tell if something's legit a bruise. I'm sure, I mean, the guy say Tepe might be careful, but she literally did have something on her face, so maybe not.
そこは無理やり押しのけても家の中に踏み入るぐらいしなきゃダメなんです。だからもう先生なんて信用できないって言いました。本当にごめんなさい。
やめなよしーちゃん。先生はできる範囲の最善を尽くしてくれたよ。
It's a tough situation. I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't go in either. I mean, maybe it'd be different because I'm a Satoto fan. Team Satoto, but I would also be very scared. Not gonna lie.
だがこれで本当にはっきりしたな。
I'm interested though, because it's like it seems like Shion might be doing the killing, but Teichi's also in the midst, and he's also very he's very also he's prone to killing for his friends, unlike the other two. Funnily enough, they're all lined up. Teichi always like killed. I mean, he killed not for his friends, I guess, but like he at least did it before. I feel like the other two. I mean, Rena kind of did, but like not directly, as Teichi did. Rena was kind of doing it for a happy life. Shion just did it for revenge. I don't know, it's like different motivations. So, what if we got a mix going on? How does it spice this stuff up?
そんなの確かめる前から分かってます。リカちゃまがそうだって昼間からずっと言ってるじゃないですか。
She's putting the chama.
それを確かめるだけに半日費やしたんですよ。それでどうするんですか？どうやって聡子を助けるつもりですか？だから落ち着きなって。それをみんなで考えようよ。シオンが聡子のことを大事だと思うように。
Yes, act as a
大事に
team.
思ってる。
Act as a team.
決して見殺しになんかしない。私たちにできることを考えようよ。
I guess even if they do it on the Watanashi, they have more time to plan it at least, which is good.
そうですね。私はもう考えて提案しましたよ。私がたった一人で今日中に決着できるものすごくお手軽な方法です。
I guess one way is to scare Tepe away. It's not like Tepe is really like connected to Hinamizawa or Satoto much. He's pretty sure he's just there because it seemed like he doesn't know about Rina's murder, but he's either scared or hiding there, or he literally just went there because Rina's gone. So, and the house is still technically his, so he's just living there. I feel like you can spook him out of Hinamizawa. Peaceful resolution. That might be the best way, honestly. But
死体を隠すとこだけお姉の力を借りますが。
だからしーちゃん、物騒な話をするのはやめて。しーちゃんは人殺しのことを簡単に考えすぎなの。人を殺せば解決できるなんて考え方はおよそ思いつく考えの中で最低の最低、本当の最低のことなの。
なら他に提案をしてみてくださいよ。
spook him out of Hinamizawa. Someone say it.
私の提案が最低の最低なら、私よりほんのちょっぴり上等な程度でいいですから、代案を聞かせてください。
I guess the only bad thing is he might take Satoto with him, but I kind of doubt that.
ほらほら、 何も言えないじゃないですか。私なら1500秒で聡子を救える。お姉の力なんか借りられなくてもいい。死体なんか私が引きずって鬼ヶ淵の沼にでも放り込んでやる。ほら提案してくださいよ。これより早くてすぐに聡子を救える方法を。
Come on, Keiichi. It's your turn. Be the voice of reason. You're the connector between the friends.
一人で悩んだらそんなことしか考えられないの。
Hey, Rena remembers.
ならはっきり言ってあげるよ。1500秒かかりすぎでしょ、そんなの。私なら1000秒かけないよ。しーちゃんなんかみたいにぐちぐち言わずに黙って教室を出て行ってもう実行してるよ。なんでそうしないと思う？昔誰かに教えられたことがあるの。たとえそれしか方法がなかったとしても殺人に訴えるのはいけないこと。
Oh, I remember that.
正しいことじゃない。最善手なんかじゃないの。
There's a really good line about that. Actually, I think it was from it might have been in the author's note, or it could have been from Keiichi. I don't remember. It's like, it takes a lot of resolution to do murder, but if you have that much resolution in the first place, then then you should have, like, used that to find another option, or something like that. It's like, if you have so much resolve that you're willing to murder someone, then you should also have enough resolve to find a different option, or something. I thought that was a very cool line. I don't remember if it's the author note or Keiichi said that. I didn't see it being both.
それしかないと思ってしまうことが一人で悩むことの限界なの。
It's a great point, Rena. The lawn con. A long time ago, I don't know who told me this, but someone taught it to me. If there's something that troubles you, you can't think about it all on your own. You can't think of your own solution. It's the best way to conclude things.
みんなで考える。みんなで悩む。
It's sad that Rika can't see this and how everyone is still, like, slightly remembering the past lives. It still seems like a very high rolled world, even though some low rolls have been hitting recently. I wouldn't give up on this world.
確かに今この瞬間はしーちゃんの短絡的な提案に対する提案をできない
That's
け
just
ど、
easy for me to say
私た
though.
ちがみんなで考えれば絶対にそれよりいい解決策が見つけられるよ。
いいとか悪いとかの問題じゃないです。
It's good Rena's saying this too. I remember in Higurashi, she was like really moody also. Probably because she was just mad about not being able to save Satoko, but Rena's being
1
reasonable.
分1秒でも無駄な時間を費やせば聡子がどんな乱暴されるか考えればいいじゃないですか。北条って性がそんなに憎らしい。サトシ君や聡子がどんなに辛くても誰も手を差し伸べないの。
Yeah, I think Rena and Keiichi are not included in that rule because they're new.
私が助ける。ご託なんてもうたくさん。そこをどいてよ。そこまで言うなら今から行ってくる。
Where's Keiichi, dude? He hasn't said anything.
あいつをサクッと殺して聡子を助け出してくる。
ダメだよしーちゃん。しーちゃん。
お前たちは呪ってろ。自分たちの無力さをいつまでも。そしてより集まって思いつきもしない妙案を議論し合えばいい。そうして聡子のために何かしているという免罪符を得ながら聡子を看板に見殺しにしていけばいい。あんたたちは誰も聡子のことを大事に思ってないんだ。聡子のことなんか遊び友達だとしか思ってないんだ。
Though it would be nice for Rena to go in her angry mode because I remember Keiichi was going hard, like super hard, and it was super cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll go Keiichi. And then Rena hit him with the double Zinder whammy and knocked him out off his feet. And it was a great line. I don't know if she's gonna do it now though.
私は違う。聡子は友達以上家族だとすら思ってる。
But you know, Shion's been jabbing a lot. It's kind of a good setup for a whammy. I feel like Keiichi might actually give the whammy because we know Keiichi would also kill for Satoko.
あ んたたちとは聡子を大事に思う心が違うの。じゃあね、殺してくるね。さようなら。
Teachy!
な
I knew it!
何を邪魔する気ですか？
シオン、お前レナの言ったことが半分も理解できてねえだろ。
You tell her.
半分どころかお釣りが来るくらいに理解してますよ。殺しをするほんのちょっとの度胸があればすぐに救えるのに、それをきれい事でごまかす偽善の話ですよね。
シオン、お前が人殺しをしてまで聡子を救ったとして聡子は感謝すると思ってるのか？
感謝が欲しいわけじゃないです。
It's a good comeback, Shion. I was saying she'll probably just say that.
別に私は差し違えてもいい。
That's what I would say if I was in Shion's position and ready to murder. You don't need a bid zinger, Teichi.
それで聡子が幸せになれるなら本望なんですから。
違うな。口先の威勢はなかなかいいが、お前には差し違える度胸なんかありゃしねえな。その証拠にお前はさっきミオンに死体を隠すのを頼みたいようなことを言ったじゃねえか。それはつまり差し違えたくない、叔父をぶっ殺した後元の平穏な生活に戻りたいって願望の表れじゃねえか。お前が本当に望んでいる世界はついこの間までの世界、俺たちみんなが仲良く楽しく過ごしていたあの世界への回帰なんだ。だがな、お前が殺人を犯せば絶対にその世界へは戻れない。そうそう簡単に完全犯罪なんかができると思うなよ。お前は絶対に逮捕される。
それくらい覚悟の上です。聡子の苦しみを私が懲役で買われるなら本望です。
違うな違うな、絶対にそれは違うな。お前は自分を呪うぜ。かけてもいい。どうして自分が殺人なんて貧乏くじを引かなくちゃならなかったのか、未練がましく自分を呪うんだ。そしてその時になってようやくシオンが本当に求めていたことに気がつくんだよ。それは叔父を殺すことじゃない、みんなと元の世界に戻ることだ。そしてそれは殺人を犯すことで台無しになってしまうんだよ。そしてお前が自分を呪うように聡子も自分を呪うだろうな。
I feel like they changed Teichi's facial expressions. I remember them being way more static. I think it's the new eyebrow tat. I like it. If you remember in Mayatashi, and a bit in Sumi Horoboshi, Teichi's facial expressions were like not great.
自分が原因でシオンが殺人を犯す羽目になったとずっと後悔すると思う。第一、お前がいなくなったら誰が聡子にカボチャを食わせるんだよ。
Squash.
誰が聡子と陰険なトラップの相談をするんだよ。お前だろ。園崎シオンだろ。お前が本当に目指す世界にはお前が聡子の脇にいなければダメなんだよ。そこを間違えるな。聡子のためだと錯覚して自ら取り返しのつかない間違いを犯すんじゃない。
そこまで言うならケイちゃんは聡子を救う方法を何か提案できるんですか？できないでしょ。口先だけの綺麗事で私の邪魔立てをするな。だからそこをどいて殺す。私が今から殺しに行く。
Whoa. Hey! Wasn't this a thing in, I know it's kind of weird to bring up, but, the Himasabushi opening on YouTube. I do remember telling you guys that's, like, my favorite opening out of the three I've watched. And I actually have the song in the playlist, but I haven't watched the video in a while. But there's like a good 3. It's looting the console art. So there's like 2 or 3 things that we haven't seen, like CGs. I think this was one of them. It's a nice CG, kind of. It looks a little stuffed. I think it's just Xion. It looks a little funky, but we'll take it. Keiichi blocked her way by standing in front of the door. Xion gave him a hateful glare, but he just sent her back a confident smile.
シオンを生かせるわけにはいかねえな。俺たちの望む世界はシオンが欠けたら成立しない。
Man, I feel like Keiichi's actually speaking for Rika.
だから俺はお前を生かさないぞ。
Like, also the other stuff you were saying before this.
ほう。ならケイちゃんは北条哲平をかばってるってわけですね。なら同罪だ。お前から先に頭を叩き割ってやる。ちょっとバカシオン、やめなよ。シオンさん、その椅子をどうするつもりですか？やめなさい。椅子を床に置きなさい。ケイちゃんがこの後に及んでまだ私が本気だって分かってないならマジで血見ます。
Hey, Keiichi's not scared, bro. He had a battle on a rooftop with his life on the line. Think the chair's done a spook, my boy?
謝んなくていいですからとっととどきやがれってんです。
シオン、確かに今この瞬間俺はよりいい提案をできない。でもそれは今思いついてないだけのことだ。俺たちはきっとサトコを助けるもっとマシな方法を考え出す。絶対にだ。絶対に俺たちがサトコを救う。だからな、信じろ仲間。
仲間であるサトコのために手を汚さない連中にサトコを仲間呼ばわりされたくないです。もう一度は言わない。そこをどきやがれ。
シオンこそ頭を冷やして考え直せ。俺たちはきっとサトコを救える。それを信じろ。だから短絡的な考えに走るんじゃない。仲間を信じろ。仲間呼ばわりされたくないってんなら俺を信じろ。前原圭一が必ずサトコを救う。だからそいつにかけてみろ。
黙れ無力。お前なんか信じられるか。お前にどうやってサトコが救えるというのか。シオン。
Xion threw the chair at Keiichi. It hit him hard and the chair fell with a loud noise. But Keiichi was unfazed even after being struck. He just stood in front of the exit without even covering his face. Wait, he wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from his forehead where the corner of the chair hurt him.
答えねえな。その程度で俺が道を譲ると思ったかよ。殺されたって俺はここをどかねえぞ。お前を生かせればシオンのいない世界になる。その世界ではいなくなったお前のことをずっと思って毎日うつむいているサトコがいるんだ。俺たちがどうやって慰めてもその場だけは元気そうにするがすぐにまたうつむいてしまう。そんな悲しい世界があるんだ。俺はサトコにそんな悲しい世界を見せたくない。俺たちが描く世界は昨日までがそうだったようにみんなで楽しく過ごして暴れて遊べるあの世界だ。もちろんおじの野郎なんかに二度とサトコを泣かすような真似はさせない。それがどういう方法なのか今この場では確かに思いついていない。でもそれは絶対に思いつく。絶対だ。だから俺を信じろ。
Xion wasn't yet convinced, but even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. It was the principal. He had been standing there listening to him for a while. Oh boy.
校長先生。
よく耐えた。
What do you think about this situation, principal? I can't imagine myself being a teacher and just seeing what just happened. It's kind of insane.
知恵先生、一部始終は聞かせてもらいましたぞ。
私が至らぬばかりに申し訳ありません。
昨日の今日の出来事ではあるが、わしももはや猶予のならない事態だと思っておる。しかるべきところへすぐに連絡するべきであろう。
でも校長先生、児童相談所には過去にも相談したことがあって、どうせ助けてなんかくれませんよ。他力本願もいいとこです。
Shion raised her voice. The principal looked at Shion and started talking.
園崎紫音君、私は言葉の中で最も憎むべきものがあるのを知っている。
What? Impossible?
それが何かわかるかね？
Or hopeless or something?
今君が言ったどうせという言葉
Oh,
だ。
anyway. Okay.
どうせという言葉は戦いもせず負けを認める最も醜い言葉だ。
I feel like it's true the child consultation center didn't work, but if like literally a bunch of people are calling them about it, there's no way they're just gonna, or there's no way they should just toss that aside, right?
その言葉を口にしたときすでに
I feel like there's a lot of tech you could do. It's just like, how willing are you? Like if a bunch of the villagers came together to like talk to the child consultation center, which is like not even that hard because of like, even if they don't care, which I'm sure a lot of them probably do care, but like, you know, Sonozaki's could order it, we can just ask and people would do it. Like, I'm just saying, I thought of 3 things. Record some abuse, so that again, that might just not work because camera stuff, technology in 1983 Japan, rural Japan, but spook him away, get a lot of people to support the accusation of abuse. I don't know, good tech right now, but we'll see. It's definitely like, again, just looking at the win conditions, you definitely need to solve this without murdering him to achieve the happy life stuff. So
私も校長先生の意見に賛成。どんな策があるにせよ、頼るべき順序があると思うの。生活相談所に相談するのは多分一番最初にするべきことなんだと思う。それでダメなら2番目の手、3番目の手を考えればいい。試しもしないうちから諦めるのは、私は見殺しにするのと何も変わらないと思うから。
校長、もちろん通報するからには絶対里子を助けてもらえるように言い含めてくれるんですよね。
無論だ。北条君はわしの
that's
可
the
愛
whole
い教え子だ。
principle. I feel like it's been a couple arcs since he's like even spoke. Well, we know his legend of the school principal. He's a tough dude. Let's show your true worth right now.
きっと助けてもらえるようわしにできる最善を尽くす。
児童相談所は迅速ですから、今から通報すればきっと今夜にはもう動いてくれるでしょう。
Can we use evidence that Tepe just told the teacher to F off?
それで里子が救われればいいんだ
I feel like they could like, even if there's no abuse, like if the attitude problem he has is definitely not good for a guardian, and the fact that he left for a year, I feel like these are like some good
もしもま
good
た
pieces
様
to
子見なんて
use.
ことになったら、
それがダメだったら次の手を考えようよ。私たちが諦めない限り絶対に里子ちゃんを救えるんだから。
いつまでも綺麗事を言っててください。そうしてのんびりしてるうちに 里子は癒しようのない心の傷を負うんです。見殺しにしてるのはどっちなんですよ。
シオン、俺はさっき約束したからな。俺たちは絶対に里子を救う。それもお前みたいに差し違えてでもなんて話じゃない。里子が本当に幸せになれるような最高の形で救い出してみせる。見てろ、絶対だからな。前原圭一が絶対と言ったらそれは絶対なんだ。
Shion stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face.
園崎家の方でこの後のことは確認するよ。
You gotta love Keiichi, man. He's so, positive. Or at least, like, caring about friends. And definitely in a... You can even call it a melodramatic way. Because I can, like, never see a person being this, caring in real life. But it really, it's a really good trait for him.
分かったらみんなに電話するよ。
それで無事解決すれば最高だからな。
もちろん楽観はできないね。様子見になる可能性が一番高いね。そうなったらどうする？
その時はくそ。
知恵先生、職員室に行きましょうぞ。早速電話をしましょう。
Bro, imagine if the principal went to Teppei's house. Bro, you know Teppei won't badmouth the principal.
よく説
Man
明しないと
is
いけません。
bulked up. They left the classroom. Another heavy scene. I don't think I did much commentary in between. I'm just observing it. Absorbing it is more of a better word. Keiichi, Rena, and Mia got together and discussed their other options. Shan was looking down and crying. What's Rika been up to? Just chilling? Rika was just vaguely looking at them as if staring at a boring TV drama. I mean, this is pretty different. I feel like it's actually kind of funny. Well, not really, but like Shian's doing the Keiichi route, and into Higurashi, no one had the stabilization Keiichi trait that Keiichi possesses, so no one could have stopped Keiichi from killing Teppei. But like now Keiichi is opposing the Keiichi route and stopped it. Like this is some good stuff. Especially if they all come together and think of a solution. Nothing will change. The Child Consultation Center will put her case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I almost hope that they will take her into custody just this once. But I have no more coins left to gamble on a hope like that. In a previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle, but Shion was not there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on that role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny that she is being abused. Her uncle will assume that she is the one who called the service and he'll abuse her even more. She will come to school tomorrow because she doesn't want the Child Consultation Center to be suspicious of him. We will feel more and more hopeless when we see the dead look in Satoko's eyes. I've been living for more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. The fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time. But in the end, it all came down to the same thing. It was a waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied these people for talking endlessly about how they were going to save Satoto. Chapter break. Dude, no one went up to talk to Rita. I was expecting a Keiichi boost or something. Hey, it's another double chapter break chapter. Or is it? No, it's a chapter end. Wet blanket. Let's read the tip. Living Without Hope. That's a great title. We might use that if I remember it. Like I said, achievements have some good achievement titles or good episode names, if I can remember. New tips. It's Teppei. Sprited Teppei. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the whole year, and see what happened. For him, the house in Hinamizawa was a rather dull hiding place. His lover Rina had suddenly disappeared. Rumors told him that she was involved with some dangerous deal. Some sources even told him that she had already been caught and killed. Everyone knew he was aware that Rina was living with him. Everyone also assumed that he knew everything about what Rina did. They were convinced that he got money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result some dangerous men came after him. That made it difficult for him to stay in Otonomiya. More than anything, it pissed him off to find out that Rina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife, as it had been abandoned since he moved into Satoto's house. Besides, he didn't even have the key to his old place. But even if he went to Satoto's house, she should still be there, and she could clean and cook for him too. Teppei didn't know how to cook or clean, and he certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Rina had often been rebellious towards Teppei. He had often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, for a pet. For Teppei, Satoto was exactly what he wanted. As Satoto is still a kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. Satoto's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoto might grow up to become a pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Teppei headed back to Hinamizawa with those indecent thoughts in his head. Good one, dude. The house was locked, so he assumed that she was at the market for grocery shopping. He found her at the store and dragged her back home. However, the house was full of dust. She'd been living at her friend's house for the past year, and the house had been abandoned. Teppei exploded in anger. He told her that it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. He beat her and kicked her down to the floor. Eventually, Satoto's expression returned to what he remembered from 1982. Satoto started obeying him immediately and cleaned up the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. Teppei told his buddy to show off his new beginning and ended up playing Mahjong with them. He bragged about his new pet and made her serve them food and drinks. He told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but she obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing and they were all jealous of him. Teppei felt really good about himself. However, someone arrived to interrupt this perfect life.
私、ひなみざわ文庫教諭の千恵と申します。北条聡子さんはいらっしゃいますか?
He thought someone was at his door to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher.
ああ、なんじゃよ、踊り。なんで踊りに聡子合わせにゃならんね。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思いお伺いさせていただきました。
学校？
はい、聡子ちゃんはいますか？ちょっとお話ししたいことがあるのですが。
ああ、 風邪なんね。そうそう。聡子は風邪で熱出しとるんですわ。
プリントとかをお渡ししたいので、ちょっとだけお話しすることはできませんか？
ドアホ。おどれ話聞いてなかったんかい。聡子は風邪じゃ。うねっとるんね。それ合わせられるかい、バカ。
This was going to cause him problems, Teppei realized. So Toto was just a pet for him and he had no intention of sending her to school. But her teacher had shown up at his house just because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Teppei hates school and he really hates teachers. Oh yeah, can tell.
そうですか。明日
知るかいな、そんなもん。明日になって見なきゃわからんわ。このクソボケ。
そうですか。では、さとこちゃんに失礼します。
He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Totoko to school tomorrow. Teppei didn't need even more trouble on his place. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to. Hey, it worked. Kind of. Violence was the only way he knew how to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was very difficult for him. He wanted to beat up Satoko, but would leave evidence on her body. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. And if she didn't go to school, the teacher would show up at his doorstep again. Shit. On top of all that, the child consultation center paid a visit to his house that night. The teacher must have filed a report. That bitch, Teppei thought. Next time I'll beat her in the face so hard she'll need plastic surgery. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she really was sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for Teppei to control her. He considered Satoko to be a convenient pet, but at the same time he needs to be careful of the consultation center. Huh. I mean, if you didn't need any more info to not like Teppei. No. I've already made that joke before. Interesting, this might be different. Because I feel like... I mean, maybe that's what they did in Higurashi, but... Actually, no, Rita said that... she had never visited Teppei before. So obviously physical abuse isn't happening, but I feel like the emotional abuse was the biggest thing last time. Well, maybe that'll change things up. I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful. I feel like Rita's giving up too easily. Again, this is a rare scenario, but apparently it's not too rare. Again, she's never seen Shion in the equation, so I don't know why she's so hopeless about that. That's like a whole new factor. You never know. But yeah, Keiichi's right. They need to fit the rules of winning for Rita. They need to not kill him. Or someone else can kill him, just not them, I think. We'll see what they come up with. I already gave my ideas. I don't know if any of them would actually work, but yeah. This next episode, we'll see Satoko at school and see how that affects everyone's morale, like Rita said. And hopefully we'll get some stuff done. Keiichi will lead the charge. And we'll see. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching as always. And I will see you next chapter. Goodbye.